But instead of listing all the right actions and behaviors one can take, because really it's an unlimited process. That's the beautiful thing about existing in reality. We are going to use an occulted method of truth discovery. It is called the lost art of retroduction. It's also called the apophatic inquiry, or apophatis. This is the apophatic method. Okay, so this method is a method of logical reasoning employed when given a limited set of possibilities in order to arrive at knowledge by way of the exclusion of known negatives. So, describing what something is by explaining what it is not. So, this process of truth discovery is ancient and remains unseen from modern education. This process of apophatic, the lost art of retroduction, is an ancient process. This is how a lot of ancient peoples understood what God is. We can understand what a right is or a wrongdoing by this process. So this is affirmation through negation. Here's a crude example over here on the right. This is something that parents can explain to their children. How do you find a needle in a haystack? You burn the hay. That which remains will be the needle. Okay, so that is a process of apophatic, the apophatic method. So when we're applying this to what a right is and to morality, let's look at the negative. What are the wrongdoings? So we can do that. And these are the transgressions against natural law. These are the true 7 deadly sins. These are the true 7 deadly sins that religionists, mainly Christianity, have taken and inverted these transgressions and actually turned really them into vices. And you could talk about the commandments and all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna really dig into religion in a little bit, because this is the problem with a lot of people when it comes to morality. They're still religious in their thought processes, mainly Christianity. It still has a hold, even if they claim that they are not religious. The programming and the conditioning is still there. So, using the process of negation, we're going to look at the wrongdoings. Okay, it's pretty simple: murder, assault, rape, theft, trespass, coercion, and lying. And yes, Mark Passio has talked about these. This is objective. There's no situation where murder is a right. There's no situation where an assault is a right. Rape, theft, trespass, coercion, and willfully lying is a right doing. It doesn't matter what country you're from, time, location, etc. It does not matter. They're all a taking of something. It's a theft of another person, loss, injury, or harm, a person or property, and that is a wrongdoing. Now, this is objective morality. This is the foundation that human beings need to understand on how to operate in reality. It's so simple, but yet the hard part is coming up. A lot of people agree with this. Murder, assault, rape, theft, trespass, coercion, and lying. Now, here's the problem. Let's take this out. A lot of people can't apply a concept to themselves or to the world, what is going on in the world. For instance, these transgressions. Everyone owes everyone one thing: do no harm. If you are aggressed upon, you have the right to defend yourself. These are objective principles. Now, a lot of people will agree with that, except when you start start talking and you bring government into the conversation, now people start to squirm. Because government, which I'm going to touch on here in a minute. Let's go right to it. Government, right, are humans calling themselves government, have the ability to control people through coercion and violence, but they erroneously claim they have the right to do so. This is the belief in human authority over other humans, which means some people are masters who have the moral right to issue commands, and others are slaves who have a moral obligation to obey the masters. That's the claim. So the belief in human authority is a dogmatic, religious, illusory mental concept that has been programmed and conditioned into the minds of humanity for eons. The majority of people in the world support, condone, worship this belief system, which is the supporting and condoning of slavery. So people have this hard time understanding that government is not an entity. It is a group of human beings, that are making the claim, that they have the right to violate, coerce, and violate others, transgress upon others, which this is a false claim. Absolutely. This is why government is eternally slavery, because you cannot make a wrongdoing a right. You can't give someone you yourself do not have. You cannot give a right to someone that you yourself do not have. If you can't steal from your neighbor, you can't abdicate that right magically to a group of people saying they can steal from my neighbor. Not in reality, the realm of the real, in truth. It is only a mental, fictitious concept in the mind of a sick individual that's living in a fantasy world. So this is the problem. I mean, so when we look at the world and we understand that governments are running rampant, corporations running rampant, order followers, the police and military violating people in record droves. The number one death on this planet is democide, which is death by government in some capacity. And even after that is malpractice, death by ignorant doctors, which is still the belief in human authority. The belief in human authority, putting someone up on a pedestal saying they are the authority, they are the author of me or other individuals, right? This is what authority means: to author, to own, to possess, have ownership of. So it doesn't matter if it's in a police uniform, camouflage, a doctor's lab coat, right? It does not matter. In nature, in the realm of the real, a right is a right, a wrong is a wrong. Doesn't matter who you are or where you're at.